Hi, hello, welcome to another travel and reading vlog. So typically, if you've seen my videos before, you know I am doing this Reading Around the World challenge where I love to travel and I love to read a book by an author who's from that country or that place that I'm traveling in. But I've already read a lot of Australian authors, and a big reason that I'm doing this challenge is so that I can kind of discover writers and perspectives that I may not have been exposed to otherwise, and also is like another entry point into the culture that I'm going into. I was originally going to just read whatever I wanted, but I am really excited because I got a book that I have been dying to read from the library, and it happens to be by an Australian author. That is The Invocations by Krystal Sutherland. Meant to be. Obviously, this is meant to be. This is perfect. So this is one of my most anticipated reads of this year, and I'm gonna get started on it probably later this afternoon after the haircut, when I have my makeover, my transformation, and yeah, I'll give you my first check-in a bit later. I like it. Just need to get used to it. Good evening. So I had such a busy day. I'm so tired, but it was a really good one. After the haircut, I went to the Museum of Modern Art, and I went to like all of their exhibitions, but the one that I really loved was called Fairy Tales, and it was just an exploration of different fairy tales from like all around the world and how they've been portrayed in film and art. Contemporary art is like very hit or miss for me. I often don't really connect with it, but this was honestly just the best exhibition that I've been to for a really long time. It was so magical, and I felt like they really leaned into some of the more macabre aspects, which brings me to my actual reading for today. So I'm loving The Invocations. I think I'm like 20% of the way through, like maybe 80 pages or so. I'm still like kind of getting a grasp on the main premise. So we follow three women. There's Emmer. I don't know how to say her name. It's like E-M-E-R, Emmer. And she seems like she's on the run. She's at Oxford and she's kind of slumming it, kind of squatting. She's on the run from something and we just don't know what it is yet. And then the second one is Jude. She's made like this deal with the devil or something like that, because the thing in this world is that it's set in our world in England, but only women can use magic. Men can't use it, and women can only access magic by making like a deal with the devil kind of thing. And so it seems like Jude tried to do something like that, but something went wrong, and now it's turned like her spirit necrotic, and she like kills things in her wake. She smells bad. It's a very unfortunate situation, and she's also the daughter of a billionaire, but the billionaire father is like, you have brought shame on this house, and like won't speak to her and just tells everyone she's a heroin addict. And then the third person is a witch. That is Zara Jones, and Zara, her sister's like gone missing or has been murdered or something. She isn't even totally sure, and she's kind of on this mission to get her sister back. It seems like there's a lot of emphasis on like the patriarchy, and there's this quote like very early on in like the prologue or something where she says like men don't need to think about, you know, being followed home at night. They don't need to think about being attacked. I did think about it, especially being a woman traveling alone. Like that is something that comes up, and I'm really curious to see where she's going to take it, because we're getting a lot of hints at things that sound very intriguing, but I've really just gotten up to the premise at this point. I'm waiting for that like inciting incident to go. do on this trip was try one of the electric scooters and take it around the city. It turns out that I am very bad at steering and controlling where I'm going. So some of the onlookers when I was trying to get myself started actually thought that maybe it was running low on battery, but it turns out that I am just uncoordinated. But once I figured it out, it ended up being a really nice way to explore Brisbane in the evening, and I'm really glad that I gave it a shot. Well, hi there. I am back home. It's almost 9, which seems crazy, and I am just deciding that I'm going to make a girl dinner. I have a little cheese board with my Airbnb, and so I got some cheese and some cured meat that I have lost the package already, so I don't know what kind of meat it is. It's this kind. Oh, I've got strawberries, I've got bread. What else do you need? Medieval peasant dinner. And I've also got some prickly pears. I don't really know how to eat these. Like, I was reading online just now and I think, oh, they're spiky. Oh no, it's kind of soft. Okay, well, I have a prickly pear. Oh, and kind of funny story, when I was buying these, it was mortifying actually, I felt horrible. So I accidentally stumbled across this farmer's market, right? It was pretty early in the morning, nothing else had opened. So I thought, hey, like, I'll just try these. And they were $4, so they're like $1 each. And then I told him I would pay in cash. And so I was like looking through my wallet, and I don't really know Australian money that well, but I had a few bills and things that I've been needing to use up. So I thought, okay, I'm gonna just use the cash. It's a small market. It'll probably be more convenient for them that way, and that will be great. However, I know that I had a $10 bill in my wallet, but I accidentally gave him a $100 bill first thing in the morning to this like little market guy, and luckily he didn't even like blink. He was so nice. He was very gracious about it, didn't say a word. But I know that's inconvenient and annoying because he had to make like $96 in change just for this like dumb white girl to get a prickly pear. It took me like until he was actively giving me my change back to fully register. I felt terrible about it, so I apologized. But the thing is that I had already apologized not having the coins on hand already prepared to give him, for how long it was taking me to scrounge around and check the amount that's written on every single coin, for not having the amount of coins that I need and needing to get. And then I apologized again for giving him the $100 bill like 6 times in a row. And so like this whole interaction lasted for like 60 seconds, and I apologized like at least once every 10 seconds. Mortifying. Mortifying. I am just living the Canadian stereotype, like, to a T. It's embarrassing for me and probably everyone who has to interact with me. But then I came home and just flaked out for quite some time. It got really hot outside after the museum, and I just kind of enjoyed laying in bed in my aircon. But I'm now at about 45% of the way through, and the book is really, it's getting great. Like, I am so engaged and invested in these characters. I'm so excited to see where it's going. Things are beginning to make a lot more sense as well. Like, I really like how she kind of feeds you all of the information a bit slowly, so it's not like super overwhelming, and you kind of get to know the characters first, because I wasn't super sure how it was going to work out with 3 sort of point of view characters who were all kind of after something very different, and that's how it kind of came across. And they're all very unique, but what they're after, what they want, is aligning in a really nice way. Also, can we just take a moment to appreciate how beautiful that cover is? Like, it is just an astounding, it's so nice. It's beautiful. You know, I feel like the book cover looks more like a movie cover in a lot of ways. Like, the way that all the characters are angled, the position of the title, it just has a real cinematic quality to it. So for tomorrow, I think what I'm gonna do is, there's a mountain called, Mount Coot-Tha. Coot-Tha. I need to learn a little bit how to pronounce some of the indigenous names. I'm not doing a great job. But I'm gonna go to Mount Coot-Tha, and that's near the official like botanic gardens. I went to the city botanic gardens before, so I think I'm gonna pop around there. It's supposed to be a really nice lookout point. Then in the afternoon, I just really want to have a nice cake. I don't know, that is like such a mood to me. Like, that is almost an emotion. And it's like the afternoon version of I want to have a nice cocktail at a fancy little bar. They are very closely related moods. Oh, I don't know if this is right inside. Do you want to see? Do you want to look at my... So this is the prickly pear. It feels firm. I don't think that it has gone bad. I think that's just how it is. Oh, it's seedy too. I, for some reason, was expecting this to taste like aloe, but it does not. Kind of like watermelon. It's very seedy. I mean, yeah, it's good. I don't think I'm gonna eat it with my cheese. I think I'm gonna save that for a little bit later. So I have finished House of Hollow, and I generally really enjoyed this book. But this is a very different kind of book in terms of the narrative, but also the intention. So it's like a very feminist book that is exploring violence and violence against women, power and patriarchy. And I appreciate the way that she blended feminism into the world building and into the overall narrative. It was pretty on the nose. I would not say that it's ham-fisted. It didn't overshadow the narrative and the story. I think that overall she did a pretty good job. So what did I like? I liked the magic system. It was a really nice blend between hard and soft magic, where you understand that women are able to call on the power of demons through invocations, which are kind of like a spell that is tattooed onto them, where they are essentially exchanging a part of their soul to this demon that stays then with them and gives them power to follow through with the spell that they have designed. So it gives them a certain kind of power, like their hands can melt through other people's flesh. I also really enjoyed that there is a way for this to go wrong. One of our main girls, Jude, who does kind of a DIY job on one of the spells, and that's what sends her soul necrotic. It like begins to rot off her leg, and it's really gross and gory and fantastic. And the gore is another thing that I really enjoyed in this book. It was just so visceral. I don't like extreme horror. I don't always like things that are really gory, but there was something about the gore in this that was so satisfying. One thing that I would be really curious about is understanding a little bit more of what happens like when you're selling your soul like to the devil. What happens to that bit of soul, or like what happens, like what is the negative outcome of having less soul versus more soul? So this was like 400 pages, and I think that one thing I would have liked a little bit more of was probably more character development. And that's just because it wasn't a lot of time to fully develop 3 different characters and all of their motivations, their histories. It was hard to feel really connected to them, because I'm the kind of reader that kind of latches onto a character and I feel like really personally invested. Whereas like these girls, I felt very interested in their stories. Like they were all kind of interesting. And yeah, I just didn't really feel personally invested in the way that I might want to. But I mean, overall, if you're looking for some kind of like horror that involves witches and like witchcraft and feminism, this is a really fun one. It definitely has appealed to a larger audience than just YA. I had a really fun time reading this book. I'm glad that I picked it up. Better go put on some pants for dinner. So I've had some time to just reflect on the trip and how I felt about the book. And I keep thinking about one line that is repeated a lot throughout this book, particularly as I think about it in the context of my trip. And that is, a girl walks home alone at night. This is the very first line of the book, and this is a line that is repeated several times throughout. I don't have to explain the point of it and the power of that line to any female identifying person in the world. We all know what that feeling feels like, and that was a really powerful line, I guess, or a really interesting line for me to read while I was traveling alone in the middle of a downtown of a city, because I did a lot of walking home at night, and you know, I have reflected a bit more on the book and I really enjoyed it. I really feel like the author achieved what she set out to do, you know, making a point about violence against women and the patriarchy and just even the experience of being a woman in contemporary society. And Brisbane is lovely. It's a beautiful city. Australians have been incredibly nice. I'm really excited to explore more of the country. So probably in the next few months, I'm going to be taking some more sort of solo trips around Australia. But I think that's all that I've got for now. So thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you guys next week with another video. Bye.